It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of July 18th, 2003. I had 4 films planned, but unfortunately there's no trailer for Bright Young Thing, so not going to be able to cover that one. Doesn't really matter because I didn't really see it, but the 3 other films we have here, I have seen, and some of them I actually really enjoy, including the biggest new release of the weekend that we have here up first, and that is, of course, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence in the sequel to the film that essentially made them into the movie stars that they are today, that they were back then. I mean, this is Bad Boys 2. So before we get into Bad Boys 2, I thought this was kind of funny. I was looking for the plot synopsis on IMDb, and I came across this. So more like this for Bad Boys 2. Of course, you got the 2 Bad Boys movies, and then Admission, and then this is clearly relevant to Bad Boys 2, Selena plus Chef on HBO Max. Yeah. You tell me how that works. But, anyway, Bad Boys 2. Miami is being flooded with ecstasy that's coming from Cuba through a drug lord, and detectives Mike Lowry and Marcus Burnett, played once again by Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, are on the case and determined to bring the man to justice. Additional drama is being provided by friction with the DEA, which counts Marcus's younger sister, played by Gabrielle Union, among its agents, and from Marcus possibly transferring out of the department, leaving Mike without his longtime partner. This film in particular was a big hit, even bigger than the original film. That just goes to show you that a sequel coming almost 10 years after the last movie, you know, it certainly was something. I mean, the star power of Martin Lawrence and Will Smith was so powerful back then that you put these guys in a sequel that's been around for so long, it's just like, you know what? People will go and see it because that first Bad Boys movie still has that lasting legacy to it. And some people would say that this is definitely not on the same level as the last movie, but I personally, the more I watch this one, the more I really love it. Yeah, this is the one where it's just like, it's Mission Impossible 2, except Mission Impossible 2 done right. It's a film that's definitely not as serious as the last movie, but it's a film that is just so much more fun than it has any right to be. And it's because you have Michael Bay doing what Michael Bay does best, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith teaming up once again. It's a film that is just so over the top, so ridiculous, but God, it's one of the most enjoyable experiences you could ever have. I mean, the action sequences are top-notch good. I mean, the car chase in the middle of the film when they're on the Miami freeway and the bad guys are throwing cars all over the place. It's just like, it's so ridiculous, it's so stupid, but God, I just love every single moment of it. There are so many moments in here that are so memorable for how stupid they are or how just hilarious and brilliant they are. It's just like, you can't help but enjoy this film so much. I mean, there's so much to admire about this film all the way through. The ending of the movie, the climax, the big climax when they're dealing with the landmines, is still one of the most awesome climaxes you'll ever see. I mean, there's a reason why I use that scene where Gabrielle Union throws the gun on the landmine that hits the guy and he goes flying backwards. Like, that is still one of the greatest over-the-top death scenes I've ever seen, and the way the bad guy dies in this is it's just incredible stuff. Is it a smart film? No. Is it a fun summer blockbuster film? Oh, hell yes it is. I mean, this is a film that's just so much fun. It is incredibly stupid. It's definitely not as good as the first Bad Boys movie, but you know what? It's still fun. I mean, these movies are still all a ton of fun. I mean, and if we're being honest, Bad Boys for Life takes it back to what made the original Bad Boys the great film that it was. And to me, that's still the best movie of the series, which we got another film coming up. Coincidentally, a couple of days before this comes up, before this episode will actually be released on May 29th, 2024. The next one doesn't come out until June 7th, so we're about 1 week away from seeing them back together again, Martin Lawrence and Will Smith, in a film that for the same people that made Bad Boys for Life, so that's what I'm definitely looking forward to, and hopefully this won't be a freezing cold take, but I'm increasingly optimistic about this film, especially considering what these guys did with the last movie, but that one I still think is the best one. But Bad Boys 2 is a fun, guilty pleasure movie. It's a film that's so ridiculous, so stupid at times, but you can't help but have a good time with it. It's the perfect definition of a summer blockbuster. This is Michael Bay doing what Michael Bay does best and making it work. It's a fun, over-the-top film. Completely stupid, but you know what? A ton of fun. I can't recommend it enough. Bad Boys 2. Just good fun times. And speaking of good fun times, that you can say the same thing about our next movie, and that is Rowan Atkinson as Johnny English. So in Johnny English, you have a funeral of a British spy that gets attacked, and all the remaining spies are killed, and only one person is left to be a spy in this organization, and that is, of course, Johnny English, along with his sidekick Bo. They've been assigned to the case of investigating the theft of the British Crown jewels. The prime suspect is a mysterious French entrepreneur played by John Malkovich. The two find out the horrifying truth behind the theft, and Savage, John Malkovich's character, but it's not going to be easy to bring him to justice. And you also have Natalie Imbruglia, the person who sings Torn, as Johnny English's sidekick in the film. And kind of like with Bad Boys 2, it's a very stupid film. It's not really all that clever. It's not really all that smart in general. But you know what? It's a good, fun time. It's one of those movies that got thrashed by critics when it came out. But when it came to theaters, it was a massive hit, both here in the States and overseas. I mean, it was a film that was really, really fun. Like, Rowan Atkinson is just a ton of fun to watch in here. He's not playing Bean here. He's playing a different character that's not the same character as Mr. Bean, and I think that works very well for him in this case. It's a film that is just so... It's a fun film, and it helps to have the people behind the most recent James Bond movies, Neil Purvis and Robert Wade, as two of the writers on here, and I think that helps in the long run. And the film is just so stupid and so ridiculous, but it's fun in its own ways. It's a film that is so uniquely ridiculous. Like, there's just so many moments in here that will make you laugh out loud out of nowhere. Like, the one thing I always remember from this is the end of the movie when, you know, how is Johnny English going to save the day when it's like John Malkovich is about to be named King of the... It's about to be named, what is it? King of the... given the knighthood, and you know the people are about to put the crown on John Malkovich's character, and then Rowan Atkinson pushes him out of the way, and it's just like, okay, now you're the king. And even Natalie Imbruglia is just like, wait, what? And like Rowan Atkinson just takes the moment and just goes like, arrest that man and lock him up. And it's just like, that's how the day is saved. Like, it's so stupid, it's so ridiculous, but it just works. For some reason it just works so well. Plus, there's another one of those movies that has one of those songs that, for some reason, it should not be the one of the things you remember the most. But Robbie Williams does a pretty good song with "A Man for All Seasons." I mean, this is a song that, like, you listen to it and it's just like, okay, I can see definitely what they're talking about. I mean, it's another one of those songs, kind of like with the song from Miss Congeniality, "One in a Million," where it really is just there to be a placeholder for the scene in particular, but in this case, for the theme song for the movie, it just works really well, and it's just one of those things that every once in a while I'll just turn it on and just listen to it, and it's just like, it's a catchy-ass song. But yeah, it was a really fun film. The sequels, I don't think, are as good. I think they're just kind of they're not quite as good as the other movies, as this movie is. I mean, this film works maybe for a one-time thing. I don't think they're as pointless as the other comedy trilogies out there that are seemingly pointless, like, you know, The Hangover, or even Trolls, but they're just not films that are up to the same level as the original Johnny English, which I think is still a very fun movie on so many different levels. It's just a good fun time overall. It's silly, it's ridiculous, it works for what it is. So, at least in my opinion, that is. I know this one might get a little bit of a mixed reaction from people, but I really dug this movie, so... With that said, let us move on to the last movie we have here, and that is Mandy Moore and Allison Janney, Cloris Leachman, and Peter Gallagher in How to Deal. So Mandy Moore, this was another chance for her to capture her success after A Walk to Remember. She plays a young high school student who is disillusioned with love after seeing many of the dysfunctional relationships around her. Her parents are now divorced, and her father has a new young girlfriend she doesn't care for too much. Her mother is now always alone, and her sister is so overwhelmed by the upcoming wedding that she barely leaves the house anymore. On top of that, the shallowness of all the girls and guys at her school convinces Hallie that, Hallie, Halley, Mandy Moore's character, that finding true love is impossible. A tragic accident, however, leads her to meeting Macon, and suddenly Hallie finds that true love can occur under unusual circumstances. Check it out this fall on the WB. I mean, that's literally what this movie feels like. This feels like a film that should be right at home with the WB's lineup on Tuesday nights with One Tree Hill and also a Felicity, but not as good. In fact, not good at all. It's just like a film that just wastes so much talent. Like I said, Mandy Moore, Allison Janney, Cloris Leachman. Is that Cloris Leachman or is that somebody else? I thought that was Cloris Leachman, but I could be wrong on that. Let me see. Okay, that's not Cloris Leachman as her grandmother. That's Nina Folk, who I don't know too much about. I've actually never heard of her before I did this, but yeah. Sorry to her, and I'm sorry to Cloris Leachman for getting confused for them. I swear, when I looked at that trailer, I thought that was Cloris Leachman, but no, that's not her. But Dylan Baker's in it. The guy who would have been the Lizard in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie, so I guess there's that. But like I said, this just feels like a film that would have been right at home at the WB, and not really as a movie in general. It's a movie that runs over almost 2 hours long for no particular reason. And it's just like, if you're going to do a movie with these people involved here, give them a better script to work with here, or do something unique and different with it. This just feels like a film that is literally trying to capture the success of Mandy Moore's star power as a musician, as an actress, and it's just like, it has nothing else to really say about it except that, like, the poster here is literally just Mandy Moore staring at you saying, Rule 1, there are no rules. And you think I'm joking here? No, take a look at this. Yeah, it's just so bland. It's just like, here's Mandy Moore. Like, okay, why do I want to see a movie when there's nothing else going on the front of it? Like, you're a movie poster. Sell me something on the movie besides the leading star in it. But, I mean, hey, Allison Janney gets double billing here too, I guess. So, yes, there's that, maybe. But yeah, like I said, other than that, there's nothing of value to this film whatsoever. It looks like a film that just really devoids its talented cast overall. There's nothing really all that amazing about it. It's not really anything funny. The relationships don't make a lot of sense. Like, it's a film that's clearly trying to cash in on the success of a book, because this is based on a series of books by Sarah Deason, That Summer and Someone Like You, which I've never heard of before, but this was before New Lines hit a jackpot the year later with Nicholas Sparks' The Notebook, and maybe they should have gotten it here, because this is just not a good film whatsoever. So, bland movie overall, nothing spectacular. That's how the deal. So that wraps up this episode of Time About the Movies. We'll wrap July up next time with 4 movies. This time we'll have 4 movies because we've got Spy Kids 3D Game Over. We also have Lara Croft Tomb Raider in the Cradle of Life. We have Seabiscuit, and we also have Camp, which is a film that I do remember seeing when it came out back in 2003, and I know we'll find some stuff there. So we will have 4 movies to take a look at to wrap up the month of July 2003. That'll be on the next episode, of course. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the place on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So, with that said, I am off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.